Thank you for joining me and welcome to my investment series. It's called Doing Business in Africa and the Caribbean. This series comprises of African and Caribbean countries where I focus on their major and developing industries. As Africans of the diaspora, it is very clear that we need alternative solutions for a better future, not only for ourselves, but for our future generations. Here I will lay out a path that gets us there by investing in ourselves, our community, and nations abroad. The new reality is that we cannot rely on economic growth within the United States alone. We must adapt. So what's the plan? The plan is to stop thinking locally and start thinking globally. President Obama has laid out a plan that basically says we need to be involved. That means voting in your federal, state, and local elections to help influence the change you want to see, while also being involved in organizations that help bring change on the ground. No one will do it for us but us. Now, I want to take this a step further because being involved in African American neighborhoods looks very different than being involved in Chinese, Jewish, Italian, and other communities. We are all aware of how fast money flows in and out of our community due to the lack of leadership and ownership in our business sectors. Other communities have created syndicates and established trade relationships that keep their communities strong. African Americans need to do the same. Now let's create a roadmap. Number one, let's vote in people who understand our socioeconomic needs. These people should understand how money works on a local and global scale. Number two, let's push these leaders into establishing free and fair trade agreements, as well as better trade and investment framework agreements with African and Caribbean countries. Currently, we have one free trade agreement with an African country, and that's Morocco. Now, if you don't know what free trade agreements are, it's an agreement between a government and a foreign country with the aim of liberalizing trade in goods and services and investments. The goal is to focus on the strengths and trading capability of each country. As countries seek to grow their business sectors or business opportunities, they provide access to lower tariffs on exports and imports. This creates more market access with individual industries while putting protections in place for investments to flow more freely. Now you ask, why am I pushing a global perspective instead of fixing the problems on a local level? How many African American businesses can you count in your neighborhoods? Do we own the grocery stores? How about the beauty supply stores? Trend in our neighborhoods is that we aren't the producers, only the consumers. Currently, African Americans rely on systems that aren't designed for them to succeed economically as a collective. So sticking with the examples, what if our grocery stores or our beauty supply stores were owned by African Americans and sourced with products produced in Africa or the Caribbean? What if young engineers worked on infrastructure projects in our communities, also in Africa and also in the Caribbean? What if our business financing came from countries that want to benefit us and provide an ecosystem for successful communities? This understanding creates a mutual interdependence that helps us reach our ultimate goals, which is a self-reliant community that is able to establish trade with other communities and other nations. In the next set of videos, I will look at individual African and Caribbean countries and highlight key business opportunities for investments. Current opportunities lie within the food, e-commerce, tourism, and supply chain sectors. Now, China and many other countries are already ahead of us. Let's not be the last group to catch up. Thanks for tuning in, and do me a favor, please go like and share and subscribe to this video. Until next time, peace.